Okay, folks, let's get into it. The full moon lunar eclipse coming up this Friday, March 14th at 2:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please adjust for wherever you are in the world. According to the visible sky, so this lens of astrology is known as alchemical astronomy or true sidereal astrology. Sidereal means of the stars. And if you're like, wait a minute, isn't that what astrology actually is? You'd be incorrect, because tropical astrology has nothing to do with the stars. It's all symbolic. It's based on the seasons. So every year, Aries starts on the spring equinox. But when you actually look at where the luminaries are in the visible sky, things are a bit different. So this wheel in particular has different sizes of the zodiac, and we include the 13th sign, Ophiuchus. So essentially this turns the wheel of samsara, or the never-ending cycle of materialism, production, and consumption into spiral dynamics so you can evolve as a celestial being. And evolve we are, folks. This is a pretty catalytic March, I would say. This eclipse season is really here to help us move away from karmic patterns of perfectionism, analytical, mental energy, striving, working really hard, serving to the external locus of control, into a more heart-centered, spacious, and receptive way of being. So let's get into the specific aspects that are curating this energy. Okay, so first things first. We have a lot going on in Pisces, guys, okay? So if the veil is feeling thin to you, if you're having some odd metaphysical or transcendental experiences right now, I would not be surprised, because right here we've got Saturn and the Sun are going to pass over each other this week. We've also got the North Node, which is our destiny, and Neptune, which is a double whammy of Piscean energy, all conjunct, okay? So this is where they're going to be for the full moon. So Saturn, the planet of limitations, restrictions, inspiring us to take our spirituality a bit more seriously, bringing that patience and grounding this energy of the deep intangibility of Pisces. The Sun obviously is going to be illuminating that, as well as the North Node, which is the collective destiny that we are stepping into, okay? And then a double whammy of Neptune energy. So all of this is going to be opposing the moon, conjunct the South Node, okay? So this is a South Node lunar eclipse. This means it's very karmic in nature. We are moving away from the patterns that have kept us stuck. We're moving away from these Virgo tendencies of overthinking everything, of needing everything to be perfect, of analysis paralysis, of being afraid to put ourselves out there because it needs to be perfect, of using the mind to calculate everything and needing to be certain, right? All of these things, like the mind itself is what keeps us stuck in the 3D realm, right? So it's keeping us in the lower densities of our reality, doing the same thing we've always done because it keeps us safe and small. The full moon is the pinnacle of the lunar cycle. It is a check-in point from the intentions that we set with the new moon at the beginning of the cycle about 2 weeks ago. So that new moon, if you recall, was in Aquarius, and at the new moon, the sun and the moon are always at the same point. So we had the sun and the moon in Aquarius urging us to set some futuristic goals, while we also had all this energy in Pisces going on, really reinforcing the value of our receptivity, the deep intangibility and spirituality. We've also got Venus in retrograde in Pisces, conjunct Mercury, which is going to be going retrograde like the day after or 2 days after. Right? So Venus, the planet of love, relationships, values, how we love, what we love, and Mercury, the planet of communication, transmission, and how we think about things, right? So just honestly, so much energy in the void, so much energy reinforcing the value of the void. Thinking about how depth is important, thinking about how we can value our intuition, thinking about how we can do less and be more, right? Like the Virgo Pisces axis is all about doing in Virgo versus being in Pisces. Working in Virgo versus resting in Pisces. Controlling in Virgo versus trusting in Pisces. Now, I will say, though, it's not just Virgo on this end, okay? So this is where we've got a bit of cuspy energy, especially the moon is right in the cusp there, okay? So it will be bringing in some of this Leo energy as well. And Leo, as far as a karmic energy, is about needing that external validation. It's about wanting to be the center of attention for superficial types of reason. It's about being dramatic, right? That kind of energy. On the gifted or more exalted energy of Leo, it's about having confidence and having bold self-expression, right? So we're going to be having these themes coming up throughout this lunar event. So when the moon is full, it acts like a magnet to pull things up to the surface for us. And as far as the lunar cycle is concerned, this is a check-in point for us to see where we're at as far as the intentions that we set 2 weeks ago. And the intentions, as I mentioned, were about futuristic goal setting, like slow and steady progress, of devotion over discipline, moving from your head to your heart, valuing receptivity, and so on and so forth. So at this point, with the moon being full and the way that it works as a magnet to pull things to the surface for us, we might be having some of these shadow aspects of both Virgo and Leo coming into play in order to see what we're going to choose. Because this is essentially how our reality works. It's like a choose your own adventure type of situation. So who you're being on a cellular vibrational level is what attracts circumstances for you to choose how you're going to react and be with those circumstances. So it's kind of, I don't want to like using the word like a test, but it kind of is, right? It's a choice point. So really these sorts of eclipse periods, because the energy is intensified, is a powerful choice point. Like, are you going to choose the old paradigm of overthinking, looking for external validation, working yourself into the ground, feeling like you need to do more, feeling like everything needs to be perfect? Or are you going to relax, surrender, and trust in the flow of the universe? In this lunar event, honorable mentions also go to Chiron, also in Pisces. So our biggest wounds as far as our spirituality are concerned are being highlighted here. And we do have some supportive energy from Uranus, the planet of revolution and innovation, freedom. Uranus is Aquarian energy. So we do have this supportive kind of shaking things up kind of vibes coming from Uranus in Taurus. So this is our physical world, our resources. And what this is giving to me is like, if you can do less and surrender and relax and trust, let go of those old karmic patterns of the mind, keeping you encapsulated in a work hard, grind till you die, material success is everything kind of mindset. If you can release that and have faith and trust in the flow of the universe, you can literally curate a brand new reality for yourself based on this new way of being. Also chiming in here, we have Mars recently stationed direct a couple weeks ago after a retrograde period in Cancer in Gemini. So since December until a couple weeks ago, we were reevaluating how we assert ourselves and our self-concept and how we're doing things. So Mars moving forward in Gemini is this flexible, kind of curious energy about like, how can I do things differently? How can I entertain different perspectives? Like, it's really forging new pathways, forging new neural pathways in order to curate a different result. Since eclipse energy can be chaotic and there is a lot of spacey intangibility kind of vibes going on here, there might be a tendency to fall into escapism or idealism, like rose-colored glasses as far as situations are concerned, relationships in particular because of Venus being in retrograde. So I would hold off on restarting any kind of relationships or maybe even difficult conversations at this time. Just chill, just let things flow, let things come to you and see what happens. The eclipse energy is always a bit chaotic, and so as far as rituals are concerned, honestly, I would just be relaxing and receiving. Anything that is coming up as far as a trigger or an activation is concerned is literally there to bring your awareness to it. And remember what I said about it being a choice point, right? So are you going to choose to be butthurt and grouchy and pissed off, or like sad and lonely, right? Like, because those energies are going to be magnified by this lunar event with the eclipse, and then you're going to attract more of that shit into your life. So if I were you, and what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to take it easy. If I feel any activation coming up, I am going to send that shit to the moon because that is what it's there for. I'm going to be soft and chill. I'm not going to push myself to work too hard. In fact, I am going to actively rest and do as little as possible. Depending on what you've got going on in your chart. Now, I do have a lot of 12th house in Pisces. Like the Virgo Pisces axis, the 6th and the 12th houses are very active in my chart. So it makes sense that I'm feeling the need to just like chill and let things play out, because less is more is the message that I keep getting. If you are curious about how this moon is going to affect your chart, I am offering mini readings. I do have a package as well as far as eclipse season support if you're looking for support in between the eclipses, between the 14th and the 29th. So if you're interested in any of that, slide on into my DMs. But otherwise, just chill, babies.